So we haven't had a new Blazblue game for a while now. I thought it would be fun to make a video on what I would like to see in a new installment. As a fan of the series since the first game and seeing how Guilty Gear has changed with its recent installment, I have some concerns and ideas regarding what Blazblue should do to make a fun but also successful fighting game. Again, considering Strive's changes, it wouldn't be much of a surprise that Blazblue is going to have the same thing happen to it. Personally, I think they should keep Blazblue as is regarding its systems and mechanics. It was originally made to be a more accessible game compared to Guilty Gear, and arguably by the time Central Fiction came out, it became the more complicated of the two. BBCF strikes a nice balance between complex mechanics and relatively easy executions. Losing character moves and having more restricted Gatling change would do nothing but harm the series. They made 4 Blazblue games with a couple of extended versions that have largely functioned the same throughout all 4 games. It should continue to exist as a fighter that targets a more hardcore audience, considering Arc already has Strive and whatever else they might work on in the future to appeal to casual. Regarding minor changes and certain tweaks that can be made to improve the overall experience now, well, for one, this has to go. But other than that, Arc is unpredictable when it comes to buffing and nerfing characters, so I'm not sure what the hell they're going to do. I can only hope it ends up being somewhat balanced. I'd say in Central Fiction you can do well with just about any character, but I feel there is also a huge discrepancy between how much work you would have to put in by picking a character like Nine compared to someone like Noelle. Not sure if they'll change how Overdrive works. One thing I would like to see is having Exceed Excel actually be punishable in all situations. Sure, it's -10, but with the pushback, certain character normals can't reach it, so it ends up being safe, and if it hits, it's a free 2,000 or 4,000 damage while putting the one that used it in an active flow state. Speaking of active flow, it's a really interesting mechanic that rewards the player for playing well, but I swear I feel I get it at random times and not when I should get it. Other than that, the game is in a really good spot regarding its gameplay, and any changes to it should be minor at most, but we'll see what Arc decides to do. The music can be almost as important as the gameplay in fighting games, in my opinion. You need tracks to motivate, excite, and get me wanting to play more. I'll just say it now, I do not want a Strive album in my Blazblue. Keep the vocals away from most of the tracks. I wouldn't even care if they're just updated versions of previous tracks. Blazblue has my favorite instrumental tracks in all of fighting games, and it should be kept that way. But the few songs that do have vocals are actually really damn good, and it's a nice change of pace to hear every now and then. On a personal note, I mainly use instrumental tracks when I work out, so putting vocals in every character's theme would kind of suck. Now regarding the graphics, this could impact the game more than anything else. If they decide to do the switch and upgrade Blazblue to the 2.5D models like all of Arc's other games, then we're going to see a much smaller roster at launch. It might be considered lazy of them to just reuse the sprites from the previous game and maybe add a couple more characters, but I wouldn't mind that. Blazblue has been building up its roster since the first game, so it would be a shame to see it get reduced to a 12-man roster. Sure, it's going to look amazing, hell, maybe even better than Strive, but for a lot of people it's not going to be worth it. Since Blazblue characters play so differently from each other, it will be harder for people to make the switch to someone else. This can already be seen in Strive, as some people haven't picked up the game due to the fact that characters like Slayer or Jam aren't in it yet. Maybe Arc isn't really thinking about this and just assumes everyone will be okay with the cut down roster that have stellar models. I won't lie, if Bullet or S aren't in the game, my interest in it would drop quite a bit, but this is just speculation, so nothing to take too seriously. Gonna go through this quick because I feel they should have this figured out already. Whatever online infrastructure they're using for Strive, just use it for this game too. Strive online play, once you get into the batch, is the best and I don't think it's even close. But don't use Strive's lobby system. It's still terrible even after they patched it many times now. Infinite and instant rematch should be a guaranteed for anything that's not ranked. If they do run a lobby system with the little avatar characters again, I wouldn't mind it, but they should take a look at Plus R's lobby system and try to mimic something like that. Have one big lobby open for quick play, and then have separate rooms available for people to run tournament matches or private matches. It works well and makes for a smooth online experience. Show ping and ping jitter, please. Get this bar shit out of here. It was never useful in accurately determining someone's connections. Just show us the ping. That's it. Just make going online not a hassle and it'll be great. Like I said in the intro, I have many concerns and hopes about what a new Blazblue could bring. Hopefully it ends up being a game I want to play for years to come. If not, then I'll just stick with Central Fiction.